Presbyterian Church USA and all of its predecessors in denominations is the oldest sending mission agency in the United States, and we do it well. And it's something that I think we can sit up straight and be proud of. We had many, many more missionaries many years ago, thousands. I used to know the numbers, but I can't remember. Today we have about 200 full-time mission co-workers in, I think it's 71 countries, but there's also an additional 100 long-term mission volunteers and young adult volunteers. Actually, that's something I should talk to your daughters about. The young adult volunteer program is one of the best things that we have, and it's a best kept secret. It's both a domestic and an international program that young adults sign up for a year at a time. And Kenya's a place, I think Guatemala, I know Arizona, Tucson, because we have a friend who's from our former church that was in Tucson for 2 years. They live in community. It's a wonderful program. The denomination does a very good job of orienting and training the mission co-workers before they go out. I think we had 3 very intensive weeks of everything from missiology to cultural sensitivity to security. And when you're out, the small staff in Louisville, where the denomination headquarters is very supportive. I mean, from things like there's a 24-hour hotline that you could call if there's an emergency. Somebody always has that phone. They do payroll. They do all the things that we need on this side. Something that PCUS does that's unique to many mission-sending agencies is cost of living. They subscribe to a service that monitors the inflation of every country around the world. And so our paychecks were never the same from month to month because they were sensitive to inflation. So when inflation hit here, we didn't suffer because PCUSA was doing that. We got a letter from a church in California that was supporting us and supported many missionaries. And they sent it out to everyone saying, how are you doing financially? Because they knew the dollar wasn't buying that much overseas as it was. And I wrote back and said, we're fine because of what PCUSA does. When you come back, every 3 years you come back and there's a sharing conference of people who've been out in the field, and you talk about what you're doing and have updates about mission, what's going on from Louisville. It was wonderful. And when you come off the field for good, they have a conference called Reentry, which a lot of denominations have stopped just because of money, to help people reacclimate back into American culture. So the commitment to mission is there. Unfortunately, money has caused the staff to shrink and shrink and shrink. But the staff that are there is very impressive because it's, if you work for any large organization, you kind of diss the headquarters, and people are apt to say, oh, those people in Louisville. Well, when we met those people in Louisville, we were really impressed because almost all of those who are doing direct work with mission workers have been in the mission field themselves. Hunter Farrell, who was the first one that spoke on the side, he was a missionary, I know, in Congo and in Peru before they begged him to come off the field to direct a world mission. So he knows from what he speaks. He knows what it's like. And it's that way for many of the workers there. So, we felt like when we had problems, they understood.